G'day, welcome to another episode of What's Happening in Norm's Workshop. Today we're going to have a look at a repair of an alternator for a Dingo.
Want the best rates on mini excavators and tight access earth moving equipment? Go to Diggermate.com and get it done with Diggermate.
You can see the Dingo on the hoist in the background. It hasn't been charging. The battery was going flat, and when I put the multimeter across it when it was running, it was giving me 10.5 volts instead of what I really wanted, which was about 14 volts. So I tracked it down and I found that the alternator coil had a couple of breaks in it from corrosion. So we're going to have a look at a repair to that, because the original spare parts available from Kohler are either going to take an eternity to get here or are going to cost me a veritable fortune and half an eternity to get here, and I needed to work sooner than that. We'll have a look. Let's go and have a look at it. So here's the coil. I've extracted it from the Dingo, and as you can see there's a few spots here like there where there's a bit of corrosion, just cheap shitty insulation, I would say. It all seems to be around the perimeter, so I'm going to guess that's where the coil gets hottest, and the varnish on the coil has broken down over time, and then that's led to corrosion, and it's broken in two spots. I'll just turn it over and reveal the two spots. I've actually pulled the wires out already so that I can get to them and work on them, and what I've started to do with these ones is I have cleaned them up and tinned them ready for the repair. So I'll show you the next step soon. So what I'm doing now, I've put a little 180 degree bend at the end of each wire, and I'm just about to pull them together with another piece of wire. The wire I'm using to repair is thinner than the original wire, so I'm going to use 2 or 3 strands to make sure I've got the same amount of current carrying capacity as I had before. Alright, I have, looks like a bit of a dog's breakfast, but I've connected the two ends of the broken wire with about 3 or 4 strands of smaller wire now, and I'm just going to check and make sure that I've got continuity from the clip to the other side of that connection. I'll just put my multimeter there, and yes, I do have continuity. So now I'll solder that together and put a bit of varnish on it, and hopefully that'll work. Well, that's the 2 brakes soldered up, and I've inspected them with the multimeter and had a look at them using the Maggie lamp to make sure they look nice and neat. So now we'll varnish them. So today's choice of varnish is what somebody in the house didn't like. We're going to use Maybelline Forever Strong varnish, and we'll give those things a little coat to seal them up. I'll do all the spots on the coil where there's corrosion as well. There's the first coat finished. Now to do the other side, and then I'll give them both a second coat, and that'll be about it. So my apprentice is now bolting up the flywheel cover, having installed the alternator coil. We'll test everything in a minute. Rightio, so we've done the alternator test and we've found that it's producing enough AC voltage. Now I've plugged it into the regulator, and we'll see if it's going to produce DC voltage at the battery. Now, with the engine not running, we're hooked up to the battery there, and we're getting 12.73 volts from the battery. Let's see what happens when it starts. So all is well, it's running as it should, charging as it should, but the final thing is, of course, that the battery in these things is an oddball size, so I just had to make a little modification to the battery carrier so that I could put the battery holder back on. See the little bolt here? That's the modification.
Thanks for watching. To get the best prices on machinery hire, book machines, see specs and availability, go to Diggermate.com. If you found this video useful, please be a mate of ours and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the share link below and share this with your friends and give us a thumbs up.